We all learn how to earn money, save it, and spend it. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is money? Where does it actually come from? We're going to pull back the curtain on the secret history of money, the story they for sure did not teach you in school. So, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to go way, way back. I'm talking before dollars, before coins, even before the very first banks. We have to start right at the beginning of the story. You see, for most of human history, money was something you could actually hold in your hand. It was tangible, it was real, and most importantly, there was a limited amount of it. And it was all invented to solve a really, really old problem. Okay, picture this. A world with just bartering. A farmer has grain and he wants a new pair of shoes. But the shoemaker, well, he doesn't need any grain. So what happens? Nothing. No trade. It's a huge problem, and it's what stops a society from really being able to grow. So, people got creative. They came up with a solution, a common medium of exchange. And you wouldn't believe what they used at first. Shells, salt, even cocoa beans. Eventually, though, they landed on precious metals like gold and silver. The key thing to remember here is that for thousands of years, money had real value. You couldn't just print more of it. It was real stuff. But everything was about to change. This is the part of the story where money stops being a physical thing and turns into a powerful and kind of dangerous idea. And it all started with a simple promise on a piece of paper. The idea was pretty brilliant, actually. Instead of lugging around heavy gold, you could just drop it off at a goldsmith and get a paper receipt. Super convenient, right? You could redeem it for your gold anytime. But here's the huge shift. The value wasn't in the paper itself anymore. It was all about trusting the promise on that paper. And this is where things get really interesting. See, the bankers figured out that people almost never came back for all their gold at the same time. So what did they do? They started printing more paper receipts than the gold they actually had. They literally learned how to create money out of thin air, or more accurately, out of trust. The lesson? Whoever controls that trust, well, they control everything. That discovery right there set the stage for one of the biggest, most secretive shifts in financial history. As we hit the 20th century, the rules of the game were about to get a complete rewrite, and it was all happening behind closed doors. This timeline kind of maps it all out. You can see how control over money just gets more and more concentrated. It started with those early banks just protecting gold. But the real game changer? 1913. A super secret meeting on a place called Jekyll Island led to the creation of something totally new, a central bank for the United States. Now, this is so important to understand. The Federal Reserve, it's not part of the government. Nope, it's a privately owned bank. And from this moment on, money was officially created as debt. Every single dollar printed was actually a loan to the government, a loan that had to be paid back with interest. This created a cycle of borrowing that just never ends. So, for decades after that, the US dollar was still technically backed by gold. The whole world trusted the dollar because they thought, hey, we can always trade this paper for real gold. But in 1971, that promise, it was about to be broken for everyone to see. This was it, the moment everything changed. It became known as the Nixon shock. In one single announcement, the last connection between the dollar and anything real was just gone. The world's main currency was suddenly backed by, well, nothing. Just think about that for a second. The entire financial system we live in today, the one where money is just created by central banks, it's not even 60 years old. It's basically one giant global experiment, held together by one thing and one thing only, our belief in it. Okay, so why should you care about any of this old history? Because this system has a direct impact on your wallet, on your savings, on your future. Let's talk about what happens in a world where money can just be printed out of thin air. Here's the deal. It's called inflation. Think of it like a silent tax. When more money gets printed, the value of every single dollar you've worked hard for goes down. That means the money you're saving is constantly losing its power to buy things. It's a hidden tax that just eats away at your wealth while you sleep. And look at this chart. It's honestly shocking. If you had saved $100 right before they cut the tie to gold, today, that same $100 would only buy you about $15 worth of stuff. That's inflation right there. Your money is literally designed to decay over time. All right, so hearing all this isn't meant to make you feel helpless. It's about getting smart, because once you understand the rules of the game, you can start playing it differently. It's about moving from being a piece on the board to being a player. And here's a really powerful way to look at it. The system wasn't built to make you rich. It was built to keep you working. The argument is that a system built on debt and inflation basically forces you to trade your time for money that is always losing value instead of building real lasting wealth. So, how do you master it? First, you gotta see money for what it is, just a tool. It's not the end goal. The goal is to use that tool to buy assets, things that actually grow in value, not decay, things that make money for you. That way, you're not a victim of that silent inflation tax we talked about, because true wealth isn't a number in your bank account. It's having control over your time and your skills.
And all of this brings us back to one final, huge question. The whole system, as we've seen, is built on a story, a collective belief. So after learning this secret history, you really have to ask yourself, in a world built on promises, who or what do you actually trust?